and thank you for joining us today. I'm Roger Nord, Deputy Director of the IMF Institute for Capacity Development. I speak to you live from the IMF studio and welcome you to the 2021 IMF annual meetings. Today, we will give you a peek into IMF training, focusing on online training and what's in it for you. We've called this event Online Learning 360 because we hope that by the end of this session, you'll have a well-rounded understanding of what IMF's online learning offers and how you can engage with our global community of learners. Many of you know that the IMF's work revolves around providing countries with economic policy advice, extending technical assistance and training in areas of our expertise, and providing financial support to countries that need it. But did you know that as part of capacity development, we have been offering free online courses for both country officials and the general public? Leading these efforts is Oana Kroitoru from the Institute for Capacity Development. Oana has been managing the online learning program for several years, and it is my pleasure to co-host this event with her. Together, we will take questions live in about 30 minutes, so please do share your questions via the chat or by commenting on social media using the hashtag IMFCapDev. Oana.
Thank you, Roger. I'm so excited to be here with you today as we talk about IMF online learning. In less than 2 years since the pandemic struck, the number of active participants in IMF courses has doubled to over 121,000 learners. The increased demand for online learning has also accelerated our efforts to grow our curriculum and adapt the program to best serve the needs of the learners. Over the same period, we have added 20 new online courses. Our online courses are hosted on the edX platform and are free of charge for everyone. While we design them with policymakers in mind, we also welcome students, civil society organizations, academics, journalists, and just about anyone interested in learning with the IMF. In addition, we have been venturing into newer, more easily accessible, and more flexible online learning. For example, we have a learning channel on YouTube, which now hosts over 150 micro-learning videos that you can watch on the go on your mobile device. And there are many other initiatives in progress.
That's great, Oana. So we can't wait to hear more. Before we start our conversation, I think our audience may like to get a quick glimpse into our online learning program. So here's a short video which gives you more insights into the program. So I hope that gave you a nice first overview. Okay, let's dive deeper. Oana, if there are 3 things you could highlight about our courses, what would they be?
Well, first, we have a rich curriculum with a variety of courses. Topics range from general economic analysis to government debt and sustainability, central banking law, and economic statistics. Our courses are taught by IMF staff with unique expertise, informed by their continuous dialogue with policymakers from all our member countries. This means that the knowledge and skills you acquire are immediately relevant and applicable to today's challenges. Second, many of our courses are offered in languages other than English. There are courses available in French, Spanish, Arabic, and Russian, so you can learn in a language of your choice. Online courses in other languages have expanded significantly, especially during the pandemic. And third, you are joining a truly global community of learners, with active learners currently from 199 countries.
Okay, so do learners feel that they're part of a community despite the remote nature of this activity?
Yes, absolutely. When you join a course, you are learning together with government officials, students and academics, journalists, lifelong learners, and even IMF staff. You can connect with other policymakers and IMF experts through online discussion forums embedded in our courses. As such, these courses offer great professional networking opportunities.
And is there someone to help if you have a question or if you encounter a problem?
For sure. Throughout your journey, you are supported both by an IMF expert who will answer your content-related questions and by tech support to resolve any technical issues.
Okay, so how about we hear from some learners themselves? We spoke to several learners from around the world about the knowledge and skills they obtained through our courses. So let's see what they had to say.
I remember when I started work at National Bank of Georgia, one of my colleagues advised me and told me about this platform for the first time. To say honestly, that was my first attempt to this online course, and I really like this way of learning, and I kind of become addicted to it.
I had the opportunity to improve significantly my skills every time I participate in a course with the IMF.
I am an economist and in charge of forecasting. And I learned many things about forecasting, inflation and exchange rates.
In my case, like most of financial and economics related courses are directly related to my profession and daily tasks, especially the courses that are more focused on analysis of different financial markets and instruments. That's why I found them very interesting and very useful in my daily tasks.
Now, in some administrations inside the Ministry of Finance, now they are able to perform tasks related to surveillance of the economy. They are able to perform them in a better way.
Most of the surprising thing was that these so well-structured and very professional courses are free of charge for everyone who just want to register and get this knowledge.
I think you can extend the duration of some courses and also to add some courses.
Personally, I think a further involvement of the IMF is needed in this domain of learning. For example, it's very desirable in the training efforts, especially in these times of the pandemic, as we see that the world economy is trying to recover from the crisis.
The things that I will want to see is more and more courses in the nearest future. Otherwise, I'm perfectly happy.
Excellent. So it's good to hear from learners, and I hope that many of you will share comments and questions in the upcoming Q&A. We want to serve you better, and we deeply value your feedback. Now, how does online learning fit in with the broader policymaking and the reform agenda in different countries? We spoke with Ms. Elsie Ado Awadzi. She's the Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana. And with over 1,700 learners from Ghana, we have participated in the IMF's online courses, including over 700 government officials. So we asked the Deputy Governor to share her insights into how IMF online learning has supported Bank of Ghana staff.
Let me start off by saying that before the pandemic, the Bank of Ghana had made quite a significant amount of investment in technology. So that was very helpful for our staff, and we realized that we didn't have a break in training and capacity building, because we had empowered our staff to be able not only to work from home, but also to be able to continue learning online, in particular using the IMF online learning tools. Over the last few years, something in the neighborhood of 400 of our staff members have been very keen online learners on the IMF programs, learning programs. That constitutes quite a good percentage of our overall staff. Of this number, 1/3 or so are women. Some of our mid to senior level officials who are women, and we find that very important. As a central bank that also prides itself in promoting gender inclusivity. And we find that they get exposed to best practices in policy formulation and implementation in the areas of monetary policy, fiscal policy, financial stability, and related areas. It's cost effective for us as a central bank because we get our staff trained, at very little cost, if at all. So all round, we find that these courses have been very helpful for our staff, but also for the institution as a whole and for the nation that we serve. I think it would be helpful to also see a few more courses emerge in the area of, say, climate-related financial risks. I would add the role of technology in financial services and how that is disrupting the traditional financial services models as we know them, and what implications there might be for financial stability. And even the monetary policy operations, as well as all of the financial sector related policy analysis. The whole world is continuing to think through these risks, and some guidance through new courses in these areas will be very helpful. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, Deputy Governor. We appreciate your insights, and we are happy to pass your suggestions for new online courses to our online team. Now, one thing that I've realized is that these courses bring together a lot of diverse expertise, both from within and outside the IMF. So Anna, can you speak to that a bit?
Indeed, our work doesn't happen in isolation. In fact, we draw on the expertise offered by other international organizations. We have developed joint courses with the World Bank, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the European Investment Bank, among others. We find that these partnerships leverage our complementary expertise and help us reach a broader community of learners. For example, we have collaborated with the Bank for International Settlements on an online course on banking supervision. Let's hear from our colleague Aditya Narain from the Monetary and Capital Markets Department, where teams have partnered with the Bank for International Settlements to develop online courses.
Well, thank you, Roger and Oana, for this opportunity to share our experience. In recent years, the IMF has partnered with the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, and the World Bank to develop online training courses. The first joint project was with the Financial Stability Institute, the FSI of the BIS, which was the 2018 online training program for banking supervisors. This year marks the 4th iteration of the course. The program has provided a structured training curriculum for over 1,400 bank supervisors in over 100 countries since its launch. The Banking Supervision and Regulation course, or the SROC as we call it, has created a global toolkit that has become a very powerful element in the IMF's capacity building efforts, including in fragile states and developing and low-income countries. So how did this come about? This course is a key milestone in the long-standing and strategic partnership between the IMF and the Financial Stability Institute. Banking supervision and regulation is an area in which both organizations have extensive experience. Building training courses is an integral component of the IMF's technical assistance programs, and the FSI has long been spearheading the capacity development function in the BIS. So what's special about it? Well, we've achieved the best results by combining our strengths. One of the FSI's products is a web-based e-learning tool called FSI Connect, which has excellent online tutorials for supervisors. The IMF added to this with case studies drawn from our extensive field experience from our technical assistance, our financial sector assessments, and other country engagements. This allows for the content to be meaningfully tailored to the diversity of country contexts. In addition, jointly hosted live webinars provide participants with an interactive platform to connect with practitioners and experts drawn from national authorities and standard-setting bodies and to share experiences. So how has it been received? Well, the feedback on this course has been extremely positive, and it's paved the way for the development of another joint online course with the BIS on bank resolution, which is expected to be launched in the first quarter of 2022. Another one on public debt management has been developed in collaboration with the World Bank and has been launched earlier this year. Can we rest on our laurels? No, our work continues to evolve. The rapidly changing financial sector landscape and the continually evolving regulatory policy framework drives the need for constant updation in our membership. There are clear benefits to sharing expertise and jointly exploring emerging technologies, effective online learning designs, and learning management systems to strengthen the effectiveness of training and to widen the reach of our capacity building efforts. So what's been our main takeaway? Well, global capacity needs require global collaboration, and we are happy to partner with others to share our mission. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Aditya. I think these kind of collaborations do reinforce the benefits of our work for the membership, and they also enhance the online experience for learners. So, Oana, tell me, what courses are open right now, and what would you recommend for our learners?
Well, all courses we've created since the beginning of the program are open for enrollment right now. Some of the newest include courses on debt sustainability and debt management, inclusive growth, revenue administration, balance of payments, and national account statistics. Country officials and the general public are welcome to join. In the coming months, we'll be launching more courses, including on cyber risk, anti-money laundering, bank resolution, as well as on quarterly national accounts and external debt statistics.
And what's next? What are the improvements that we're working on?
We're experimenting with lots of new products, mainly to make learning easier for our audience and more impactful for the member countries. Our team of professionals in instructional design and multimedia production are working hard to make sure that our online learning is engaging and interactive. Our job is to help learners to easily absorb complicated topics and concepts and get up to speed quickly on the latest economic issues. For example, our micro-learning videos are refreshed every other week to help learners quickly get up to speed on various topics. We're also exploring new opportunities to enhance our training for policymakers. One of these initiatives is blended learning, where we leverage online learning with virtual or in-person engagement. We believe that this is the future of learning, and it is enabling us to be more nimble, efficient, and impactful in building capacity. Let's hear from our colleague from the IMF Singapore Training Institute, Mrs. Yoki Wang talk about some example of such blended engagements.
Hi, I'm Yoke Wang, Senior Economist of the IMF Singapore Regional Training Institute. When travel stopped and everyone had to move online, STI was able to pivot quickly to online teaching by leveraging the readily available resources on edX. This has made a big difference. It has given us both a greater reach and the flexibility to innovate. Looking back, I must say that our investment in online learning has really paid off. In terms of reach, we were able to scale up quickly and offer more courses than before the pandemic. Over the past 1.5 years, we were able to train over 400 officials using this blended approach, combining online videos with live workshops and Q&A sessions. And most importantly, learning gains were higher than before the pandemic. In terms of innovation, I would like to highlight two that has made STI courses really stand out. We used modules from the online macroeconomic diagnostics course and turn it into two separate courses. First, a 3-day webinar series on maintaining financial stability during the pandemic. It featured live demos using Excel and a panel discussion with regulators. Second, we created a 2-part workshop series on output and inflation forecasting for the Pacific Island countries. The modular nature of our online courses and short videos have been great tools for adaptation. Feedback from these workshops and webinars were very positive. Participants appreciated the ability to continue learning during the pandemic. The blended format, which combines online videos with live workshop sessions, were particularly popular. Let's hear from Louisa, who attended the output forecasting workshop.
For me, the blended learning approach really works given my very busy schedule. First, it helps me to complete the courses as opposed to if I had engaged myself in the self-learning approach. The reason is because the style actually suits my schedule. That is, I used the few hours of face-to-face lecture workshop with the team to gain knowledge and complete related homework at the same time. In this way, I not only keep myself on track with the course, but also gain first-hand knowledge from the window of engagement. Therefore, the motivation is there to keep engaging when future courses come up.
Learning from these positive experiences, we will be using online learning in a bigger way, truly integrating training with technical assistance. For instance, in our upcoming technical assistance mission with Solomon Islands, we are using a blended approach, pairing MDSX lectures with live workshops using Solomon Islands data. Our aim is to raise the capacity of the research team before engaging them on estimation and model building. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Yoki. I hope to see more projects drawing on these lessons and taking blended approaches even further. Well, we've covered a lot, so let's see if we have any questions from the audience that Oana could answer for us. Oana, let me start with some questions on access. Here's a question. How do I access the online courses, and can I access them, for example, on my phone?
Thank you. So we make it easy for learners to enroll in IMF online courses and also to start their learning journey. So if you start from our website, inf.org/MOOCs, which stands for Massive Open Online Courses, address which is also provided on our flyer that is going to be distributed as part of this event, it only takes a few minutes to register. And you can follow the very specific instructions, whether you are a government official or a member of the general public. You can start learning immediately. You can learn on any device, on your laptop, on your desktop, on your tablet, even on your phone, as long as you have an internet connection.
And
I think...
What kind of information do I need to register? I mean, is it a complicated process?
No, it's actually very simple. So all you need is create a free edX account, which is going to take you less than a minute to finalize. The only thing that you need is an email address.
Okay, so then once I've registered, I've decided to take a course. What kind of workload does that imply? How much time do you think I should dedicate to it?
So if we assume a workload of about 5 hours per week, which is a workload that would balance well your learning journey with job and other related responsibilities, it would take 3 to 10 weeks to complete an IMF online course. Of course, 10 weeks for the more complex and longer IMF courses.
And here's a question we get a lot. I mean, how much economics am I supposed to know before I take a course? Am I supposed to have an economics degree before I can even take an IMF course?
That's a good question. So as we mentioned before, we try to make learning easy. That means we try to make complex economic concepts easier for learning, and we try to explain them very clearly and in a very simple manner. Now, from that perspective, we do welcome learners from all backgrounds and levels. However, it is important to remember that we designed these online courses with government officials and policymakers in mind. So typically, I would say some knowledge of economics is assumed.
So you were saying before that no prior knowledge of economics was required, but let's say I take the course. Do I get a certificate that shows that I've actually done the course?
Yes. So you become eligible to receive a certificate for completing an IMF online course when you have scored more than 60% on your graded assessments. So once that happens, government officials who have registered through the IMF training catalog, they will be issued a free online completion certificate from the IMF. Other learners can also get their certificates directly from edX.
So back to the course. Let's say I'm in the course and I'm having some problem, either technical or otherwise, with the material. Is there a help desk that can help me out?
Yes. So there is platform support, which is available directly from edX. And then recall, learners have the option to raise any issues they may experience or questions that they may have in the discussion forums. These discussion forums are established for each individual course, and basically a learner can go in the discussion forum and introduce his or her question. The IMF online team is constantly monitoring the discussion forums, and we will make sure to get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, so here's a social media type question. Which course has the most likes? What's the most popular IMF course?
Well, we like to believe that all of our courses are popular, especially within the specialized audiences that we are designing them for. Speaking of government officials, I would say we have seen tremendous success and a large audience with the Financial Programming and Policies course. There we have had over 20,000 active learners. Then Financial Market Analysis is another popular course where we had over 10,000 active learners. Macrodiagnostics again. We've seen increased popularity with some of our more recent courses, such as Public Finance Management and Financial Development and Financial Inclusion.
Right. So let's, you said yourself in the beginning that you offer this in multiple languages. So can you say a little bit more about that and what languages we've translated our courses in, and are we increasing the availability of courses in other languages?
Yes, absolutely. We are making an active effort to increase the offerings in languages other than English. So far we have a curriculum of 14 massive open online courses which are available in languages other than English. For example, Financial Programming and Policies course is available in French, in Spanish, Russian, and Arabic. Energy Subsidy Reform course is available in Arabic and Russian. Then the Macrodiagnostic course is also available in French, and so on and so forth. As we speak, we are developing 6 new MOOCs that are going to be available in languages other than English. And in just a few weeks, our course on financial development and financial inclusion is going to be available in French.
Pretty good. So here's a question that we just received via WebEx, which is, if you look ahead, post-COVID, post-pandemic, how does how do you and your team look at this platform? What do you see as the future for the online learning program?
So I think we look at the future as one in which will make it easier for learners to undergo their learning journey, and also easier for the IMF to provide capacity development in a more flexible way. So we've seen already with some of the experiments that we have made in the area of modular learning, which is more focused, it's shorter. The learner engagement has increased tremendously, and so did the learning gains. So this seems to be a very promising way forward. Furthermore, blended learning is proving to be a very successful modality because it combines online learning, which has the advantage of being scalable, with more targeted capacity development engagements, such as technical assistance or classroom training. And that enables us to basically leverage the synergies across the various capacity development modalities that the fund offers.
Right. So here's another question that came in on partnerships. And the question is, we heard from Aditya the various partnerships that already exist. Are we planning more of those? And for example, with national central banks?
So we do have in mind, as we mentioned before, to leverage complementarities in terms of expertise. We typically partner with other international organizations with a compatible mandate. And we have seen, as you have mentioned before, tremendous success in our partnerships with the Bank for International Settlements. Now there is a course that is going to be developed together with our Fiscal Affairs Department in the area of taxation. And there we'll be engaging with regional taxation agencies in developing relevant courses. So yes, we do engage with regional partners, we engage with international institutions, and we try to leverage the synergies between our mandates.
Right. I mean, I think this is one of the key assets of the IMF's learning program in general, is that it brings together these different institutions, and I think we heard that very nicely from Aditya as well. Another question coming out of the academic corner is, do we partner with universities to disseminate IMF courses in seminars with students, and so that students from specialized faculties can also participate?
So all participants or learners from around the world are welcome to join IMF courses. And I think that is the beauty of it. We do see IMF online learning as being a global public good. We make online learning available anytime, anywhere, free of charge for anyone. So besides government officials, members of the general public, including students and people from the academia, they are all welcome to learn with the IMF and access our online curriculum. It is openly available to anyone.
Right. And so what's about the proportion? I mean, what share of learners are from our government officials, and what share from the general public, including academia?
So if we look at the active learners, a majority of learners are coming from government agencies. Let's remember our targeted audience is form of government and officials and policymakers. Now, and that covers around 60% of our learners. About 10% of learners are coming from universities, so they are students, and then I think about 7 to 8% also researchers and analysts. So it's a very diverse audience.
Okay, I have one last question, and this is obviously from somebody who's taken a 50,000 feet approach to this, and that is, we put out all these online training. How do we measure success? Do we have a metric for learning gains?
That is a very important question, indeed. we do have several metrics to measure success. First, we look at individual learning gains. So we measure learning gains by comparing end-of-course tests with pre-course knowledge tests. And what we typically see is, on average, an increase of 20 percentage points in the knowledge of the learners. And that is quite significant. Second, we also try to measure learner satisfaction. So through the end-of-course surveys, we ask questions how effective we have been in helping them meet their learning objectives. And what we see there is that over 94% of our learners say, number one, the IMF online course has improved their knowledge of the topic. Number two, they have been able to apply that knowledge on their day-to-day job, which is very important for us. And number three, that they would recommend the courses to other learners. So, so that is, again, a very important feedback that we get. There's also some other ways to measure impact. For example, in terms of the performance of those participants who participate in IMF courses, on classroom courses, but previously they have taken an online course. And there we do see better performance. It does seem that online learning has facilitated and has better prepared them to participate in interactive courses or in technical assistance, which is why we believe that blended learning is a very promising future.
Right. Well, Oana, thank you very much. It's clear that this is a super exciting program, and during the pandemic it has grown significantly. I think you said it had doubled, so we now have more than 120,000 learners, and at the IMF we know all about exponential growth, so you certainly have your work cut out for you. So unfortunately we are running out of time and we won't be able to answer any more of your questions live, but we do hope to hear from you and connect with you in some of our courses. We have a digital flyer which is available for you to download from the page of this event with a list of courses and registration links, so please do take a look. We would like to thank our panel for sharing multiple perspectives on online learning, as well as our capacity development partners for the fruitful collaboration. In particular, let me thank the government of Japan for its generous financial support to our online learning program. And of course you, our audience. We do what we do with you and for you, and if you're not an active IMF learner yet, we invite you to come and be part of a growing global community of learners. Before the event comes to an end, let me remind you of the next capacity development events scheduled in the coming days. We have a talk on nowcasting, using big data to track economic activity in sub-Saharan Africa, which is coming up tomorrow. Then we have a talk on engineering the green transformation, which comes up on Thursday. And finally, a talk on financing the Sustainable Development Goals, which is coming up next week. So with that, I wish you well, and thank you very much. Thank you.